What is up, guys? Coop here, and today we're going to be checking out the 8.1.5 cinematic for World of Warcraft, featuring more of the Alliance character meeting another Alliance, well, old Alliance character. So I figured that this video is going to be really awesome just to do some quick reactions to it. I've already seen this cutscene, so obviously this isn't a first impression reactions, so we're just going to kind of play through this video, and then after that I'm going to kind of break it down and talk about a lot of the different themes in there and all the things going on and about with this. So let's just dive in, watch the cinematic, and see what things we can find while watching it. So roll it. Really cool looking ship. I love Kultiran ships. So beefy. Got some important lore characters. Jaina. Forsaken Kultiran looking ships are the best though. They look so dope. Beefy boy coming up to the fray.
Lady Jaina, long has it been since we spoke peacefully in Theramore.
Theramore is gone. You did not ask me here to reminisce.
No.
So a meeting in
I
Faramar.
have come to return one who was lost.
Derek. My own brother.
The
I had
anger.
thought better
I
of
love
you,
it.
Baine. So tell me, is he the Banshee's puppet? Crammed full of blight? Is he the bomb this time?
I love that phrase so much. We'll talk about that.
That was the plan. But Baine took me from Sylvanas before.
Getting in the
Before I
feels.
was twisted to her will. I'm still your brother,
He
Jaina.
looks so cool. I love his
For as
Forsaken
long
model.
as stars do shine.
Why?
The Horde has a sickness in it.
You just feel in his heart.
We wage war while the Earth Mother dies. We have forgotten what truly matters, and my heart can bear it no longer.
Sylvanas will kill you for this.
Damn right she will.
She may not stop with you.
No life is worth living if we cannot be true to our nature.
So many parts I'm going to talk about this scene alone.
I return home to take what solace I can in my family. I hope you take solace in yours.
Baine. Thank you.
Then he does his little nod, little humph. I love that part. And then they just look out at each other. So that's pretty much the end of the cinematic. So cool cinematic overall. Obviously not the best, but it's a intermission sort of cinematic. It's one that kind of sets things up for the future. And at first I thought this whole Derek's Proudmoore scenario was just going to be some little side thing. He'd be a mini boss that the Alliance kills in their war campaign in the future, and that'll be that. But the fact that they gave it a cinematic does tell us a little bit more that this is going to be more of an important scene. There's a lot to talk about that, but let's just kind of start with the beginning of the whole thing here. So we have this artistically done shot. In the background is Faramore. This is destroyed Faramore that was killed off, pretty much blown to pieces by Garrosh when he had the mana bomb. And we have her father's ship, which from the Warbringer scenario is the one that she raised up from the sea around this spot, because there's so many symbolic things here. You have Faramore, the city that she ran that was destroyed by the Horde. You have her father's ship that she destroyed with the Horde taking over that city, and then just having it symbolically raised up while the city is destroyed. There's just so many layers to that, and so many different symbolism sort of things that you can do. And I think that's really awesome shot. Just in the first couple of seconds alone, there's just so much symbolism in just this nice 3-second shot. You know, you have obviously the Forsaken ship coming in. These Forsaken ships are really, really cool. It's basically a mixture of the cool Tyrian ones, and then they kind of add their own spikes and sort of flails to it, and I really enjoy that. So obviously the Forsaken, whenever there's like a new human component, there always seems to be a Forsaken twist on it. And one of the things that you'll really notice a lot with Forsaken architecture and things is that they use a lot of spikes now, and they're really defining themselves more as a class instead of just being like ripped up old stuff. That's what the Forsaken was all throughout Vanilla and BC, and then Wrath they started to get a little bit more of an identity, and I really like how now the Forsaken kind of actually has its own color scheme and own sort of design philosophies. So, now this is a really cool shot because it shows the Horde and Alliance meeting together into one spot. Two enemy ships that you usually see firing at each other just kind of meeting up. Meeting at Fairmore, a place that hasn't been a neutral spot in years. And the tensions is high. We could see from the earlier shots where Jaina was holding tightly to her staff, there is a lot of tension here. Obviously, she's not going to go alone. She just had a giant battle with the Horde and managed to get away with her life. So, obviously, she's going to bring over her SI7 friend, whose name escapes me at the thing. I think it's Matthias Shaw. Yeah. So, he's with her right now at the moment. I should know this. I'm an Alliance player, but really awesome interaction here. Now, I am a little confused on how they're managing to completely drive the ship. I know that he does have a undead sea priest with him, but it is something different. He does have Jaina's brother, who does have a lot of ship expertise, but just a little minor thing I noticed there. So, I love this part. You got like this fog here, especially going forward, and having Baine just kind of come through the fog. See, now Baine is going through a lot of issues here. He's pretty much betraying the Horde at this point. He's in a place where he's not really happy. His best friend Sarafang pretty much left the Horde and was in the Alliance stockade for the longest point, and he's basically coming onto the ship, and the second he does it, he is betraying the Horde. So he really feels strong about what he is doing, and he's meeting an old friend Jaina in Fairmore, a place that he used to go to regularly back in the day when it was neutral, to establish sort of trades and everything else with her, but obviously over time that didn't end up working out. So you could see just from his eyes like how painful it is with everything. You could see that Matthias Shaw is just on guard. He is just mug facing the entire time of this cinematic pretty much. Jaina is just on offensive. She is ready for some sort of betrayal or anything to happen. So, as you can see, he's just kind of talking. And then we have the reveal of her brother, Derek. So, a lot of people confuse Derek with the other brother. Just keep in mind that she has two different unique brothers. This one is actually one that died a long time ago in the battle around Fairmore when the initial Horde was coming through. The old Horde, so to speak. The ones that we actually put in internment camps in the Alliance. So, very old throwback. I think he actually died when they had a ship attack with dragons, if I remember correctly. The red dragonflight that they enslaved at Grim Batol. So, obviously my history is a little rusty, but roughly that's what ended up happening. So this character is one that is obviously a really defeated character. Lots of depression, lots of anxiety, lots of issues with this new world because he basically lost his battle. He basically failed completely. And then to be resurrected as one of the enemies of the Horde faction, and then to be tried to push against, to twisted into a character that Sylvanas wanted to attack his own family. This character has went through living hell in his last recent events. So, seeing this character and his defeated face, you can understand why he looks the way that he does and feels so sad about who he is. He is disgusted with his inner self. He is a Forsaken. So, that's definitely something to keep in mind. Now, I like this where she gets really angry and she says, "Bomb this time!" You know, is he the bomb this time? Because last time Baine had information of, of betrayals in the Horde and everything, Baine actually has a past of where he tries to help out with things, and then they just go 180. So with Baine here, he is trying to tell tell Jaina, like, hey, Sylvanas is doing all these dark deeds. Here is your brother, and she sees that he's obviously a Forsaken and doesn't really like that, but she has to be on guard, because last time Baine was warning her, they're saying, hey, they're going to be doing an attack on Faramore. Try to defend it the best you can. So she gathered all these people. She gathered her sister. Or not her sister, she gathered Ronan and everybody else all into this area. She gathered her apprentice, all of these really powerful people into Faramore to help protect it from the initial Horde attack. And what do? They dropped a bomb on them, and she didn't have enough time to save all of her people. That book has so many cool things about it, and I really wish that Blizzard in sort of Cataclysm could have really gotten more deeper into it, because after the whole initial patch went on, you don't really see many references of what exactly happened on Faramore. Everybody is just kind of like, oh, Jaina just turned into a mean person. It was just like, no, actually she went to hold the ashes of her once apprentice and they crumbled in her arms. She watches all of her friends died. She had to deal with the Kirin Tor's main leader dying and her getting thrown into the fray as being the leader. She had to deal with Dalaran and trusted Dalaran to be a neutral city, and had to talk to Thrall to calm her down because she was literally going to destroy Orgrimmar, but decided against it. And then had Dalaran been used for secretly the Horde the entire time, a splinter faction of the Horde went in and used it to steal the Divine Bell to power up the Horde, and she got mad. She killed all the Sun Reavers, as many as she could, completely just destroyed the place. So this phrase just has so much power to it, because basically she's been hurt, betrayed so much, and Baine was one of the characters that had good intentions, but he did help cause one of the issues of the bomb being dropped on Faramore, and because of that, even though his heart was in the right place, he did make it to where the situation was more dire than he wanted it to be. So that phrase just has a lot. I mean, I could go on and on for almost 30 minutes about that, but I really don't want to go too far about that. Now, this shot is interesting. Basically, it's him talking to his sister and saying, yes, that was the initial plan, but that's the plan no longer. And it's showing him, Baine over here and Sylvanas over here. And if you look at this, how the shot is done is kind of interesting. So the Horde side is closer to him, and the dagger is pointed in a direction to where it almost seems like it was, he still got it in his back pocket to attack her, and she's more distant. The distance between Jaina and him represents quite literally how they were trying to twist him to kill Jaina and the family. Now, obviously, will that come into fruition? I don't know. I really hope that's not the story. I don't want any sleeper agents within the Alliance sort of storyline. I think it's kind of cliche, especially going forward. It makes Sylvanas look like a more darker character than she needs to be at this moment, because right now they're trying to make her not Garrosh 2.0, but she's already kind of coming off that way. So I don't know what they're going to exactly do with it, but this dagger was included for a reason, and I think that there might be a little bit more to what we might be thinking of what might happen here. So, and then he says the phrase, as long as stars do shine, I still am your brother. And then, if you notice over here in the corner, they're actually starting to show a little bit of stars. Fun fact about one of the interviews with one of the story guys, he was referencing the red star of Sargeras, basically being put on the throne of the seat of the Pantheon. So that is representing Sargeras being transported over to that area. After the whole Taurus, the Burning Throne, we put Sargeras there. And he said it would be a very bad thing if that star was not to shine anymore. So, meaning that Sargeras either disappears, the Pantheon is either gone or defeated, or something darker took it over. So him saying that phrase of stars is very interesting. Also, the old gods reference this drowning in the circle of stars will awaken something, or will bring them closer to you. There's just all types of references to stars this expansion, and it's really getting interesting because a lot of the things out there in the world, star-wise, are getting corrupted by old gods. There's a lot of giant fights over light and void. There's different references to, the Titans there. There's different references to old gods as well in the Great Dark Beyond. There's just a lot of things going on with stars, and that phrase definitely seems a little darker or not to the audience more than it should. So, now, this one's important as well. Baine basically describing himself and saying that, he doesn't feel like this is right what the Horde is doing, and even if he has to die, he will, in order for the Horde just to do what is right. So, I actually kind of want to replay this section.
The Horde has a sickness in it.
Horde has a sickness, referencing the Forsaken.
We wage war while the Earth Mother dies.
The Earth Mother is representing Azeroth, because the Earth Mother is literally what Azeroth is basically to the Tauren. Obviously, it's kind of changed over time. Some people used to believe that it was Farazan that they were kind of praising too, but as time kind of has gone on, the Earth Mother is probably more, as they kind of learned more about the religion and more about the world, they probably adapted their religion to be like the Earth Mother is Azeroth personified. So, saying the Earth Mother is dying is definitely a case. With Azeroth, they are, if you guys haven't noticed, actually, and reading a lot of the cutscenes with Magni, a lot of what we're doing is not helping at all. Even with collecting all this Azerite and doing a bunch of things and patching it up and bringing in different keepers in, we haven't been healing her at all. Like, nothing is working. It's actually getting worse and worse as the expansion is going on. So, something's really interesting is going on there, and we might have to figure out something quick, because the planet might be dying.
We have forgotten what truly matters, and my heart can bear it no longer.
They've forgotten what truly matters, which is honor, working together, and getting rid of any of the threats in Azeroth. Obviously, in the time that they've been having this battle, there's been a lot of old god-related things happening in the forefront and in the background, and I think Mists of Pandaria kind of had it going on where, the Alliance War is going on and the old god stuff was kind of happening in the background. But this expansion has had way more little stuff happening in the background the entire time while the Alliance and Horde are going to war. This expansion, rather than, for example, in MoP, where it was like, oh, okay, the Calaxi are getting too crazy. All right, go take care of them real quick. Oh, we got the Shah going on. Take care of them. Take care of this. Instead, we've been focusing so much on the war that, for example, in Storm Song Valley, I think is what it's called, there's, a whole cultist and old god stuff going on over there. You've got Drustvar with its weird Drust magic. Even though we've taken care of a lot of the issues, they're still around, technically. We've got, all types of different stuff. We took care of the threats in Zuldazar so much, but there's a lot of things going on. Like, the Naga are doing something crazy. That's referenced in the island expeditions. We've got weird things going on with the elementals. All types of crazy stuff going on. So, it really gets into that as well.
Sylvanas will kill you for this.
Sylvanas will kill you for this.
She may not stop with you.
Now we do know that spoiler for this, so I'm going to hold up a spoiler finger for talking about what happens after the cinematic, so I'm going to keep my finger up the entire time for you guys, the Horde audience who doesn't want to get spoiled what happens after this. So, 3, 2, 1, spoilers are beginning now. After the scene, Baine is actually arrested due to his actions of giving Jaina Derek. However, the Sea Priest that was with him that helped him steal back the Derek is killed off. Completely just killed off, even though Baine tried to step in and was honest and truthful. And Sylvanas says that she cannot have weakness in her ranks. And they actually meet in an enemy territory, of all things, which is really weird to have all the, Horde characters in one place. A lot of the Horde characters did not like that. Almost all of them wanted to stand against her, but half of them said that they need her for the war coming. So I don't know if that's a reference to, the things going on, but Sylvanas didn't truly kill him for it, but she did make a certain thing off of it. So it's really weird because now we have two characters of the Horde that are now no longer in the Horde. Okay, spoiler finger going away in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so now that spoiler out of the way.
To our nature.
So
I return home to
he's
take
returning
what
home,
solace I can in my
and he's going to
family.
talk to his family and everything.
I hope you take solace in yours.
And he hopes he takes solace in his. So
Baine,
now we're going to probably talk about one of the longest things here, and that is, what exactly is Derek's role now? He's an undead in the Alliance. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean that we're going to get an allied race of undead. But there has been a lot of undead-based characters that are being thrown into the Alliance side. Kalia Menethil is a character that is technically the heir to the throne of Lordaeron, and she is the Lich King's sister. However, over time, she dropped the name of Menethil technically, and then one time there was supposed to be a summit between the undead and the humans at a peace summit where basically the humans and the Forsaken were able to talk and reconnect. Some humans did not like it, some Forsaken did not like it as well, and they walked away. However, there were many people that, were really connected. They really loved meeting their loved ones and were happy to reconnect. Some of them didn't want to leave. They wanted to stay together. They wanted to be together. However, Kalia Menethil was there, and she saw this, and she was trying to bring them over to the Alliance side so that way they can live together and not be separated anymore by factions. Sylvanas saw this, and she saw them running over to go to the Alliance side to join them. What did she do? She killed every single one besides any of the human ones, and then killed Kalia Menethil for being, a traitor. And due to that, everybody was dead. All these people were dead. The humans were wanted to take arms against the Horde. Anduin had to calm them down, and it's one of the things that added a lot of tension to Battle for Azeroth. And one of the things that was important was, Sylvanas was like, this is important because we cannot have any traitors whatsoever. We can't have anything. None of these people are allowed there. She only wanted the undead that hated the Alliance to be part of her faction. She can't have any source of hope, so to speak. So, anyways, they ended up running away. Or not running away, but anyways, they go to Kalia Menethil's body after the Horde kind of go away. And eventually they get a Naru to come over and help them with doing something with her body. So there's Velen there, there's Anduin there, and a Naru there. And the Naru says that they want to use her. And it was really weird. So they channel power through Anduin, and it's almost like a flood. Not just a little bit of light, but like a flood. And they use it to light forge undead Kalia Menethil. And it's crazy implications. This is the first time in World of Warcraft history that this has ever been done. And the first time that the light has ever really been shown to have this power, besides, typical resurrection. And they really get deep into this sort of thing going forward. And it's really interesting because basically you have a Lightforge undead in the Alliance. You have this character who is now also in the Alliance, so Derek being in the Alliance. And then on top of it, you got Bolvar, who is technically the Lich King's daughter, in the Alliance. So all these characters that have different things. Now, obviously, that's a different Lich King, but it's still interesting that we have, the previous Lich King's sister, who is now a Lightforge undead, who is heir to Lordaeron. We have, Bolvar Fordragon, the new Lich King's daughter, and Bolvar is obviously up to something up in his throne. And on top of it, we have Derek, who is another type of undead character that is in the Alliance. So we have like an alliance sort of undead faction going on in the midst. And it's really weird because we're starting to see, splintering of the Horde and like a weird subsection of the alliance. And I don't really know exactly where they're going with this. But they do make a reference of him having now blue eyes. So he has glowing blue eyes, which shows that he's a different type of Forsaken rather than sort of Sylvanas' Forsaken. So it's really going to be interesting what they do with that. One of the things I really liked was Nixium made a point of why was it Derek of all people? Why wasn't it Jaina's father? Because Jaina's father, if you resurrected him, had him be a part of the Horde, he hates the Horde, he manages to get out of it, they bring him over, there would be so much more symbolism in there, but they instead chose the brother. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Obviously you can't change the story around, but overall, how do I feel about this? How do I feel about this character moment? I think it's really cool. I think there's going to be a lot of really cool storytelling elements with it. I'm just more curious. We now have a total of 2 undead people joining the alliance now. So I'm just curious because we know we're getting Kalia Menethil next patch. 100%. Like, her storyline's coming. We know that Bolvar sort of is getting talked about with his daughter, with Anduin. So Anduin's going to be talking to her about, Bolvar. And then he's also going to be talking about Kalia Menethil. And then also we're going to have Derek in the faction with Jaina and all this stuff. And then on top of it, there's going to be a whole Naga thing going on. So God knows what all is going to be going on with that whole patch. I don't think it's just going to be Naga and Old Gods. I really don't. I think there's going to be something way more with the war campaign, especially going forward. I think that the Naga stuff is just scratching the surface, and I think that we're going to start seeing some deeper stuff of figuring out what's going on with Azeroth. Is there a way to heal it? More stuff about the Old Gods. I think we're going to start seeing more of Sylvanas' deeper goal. We're just going to see all types of craziness going on in the next patch, and it gets me more hyped. I really think that this patch is kind of a filler patch, and I think that whatever is happening in the next patch of 8.2 is going to be legendary. I think all the people that are quitting World of Warcraft right now are all going to be coming back for the next patch, because I think that whatever is happening that next patch is going to be mind-blowing. But anyways, I'm going on almost 28 minutes now. So anyways, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope you guys enjoyed my little ramble of World of Warcraft. And I'll see you guys.